Good morning, friend. Today we will discuss the very important concept relating to women, that is the women's property rights in India. This presentation is proposed to examine the property rights of Hindu women in India, and it also highlights the various changes which are brought by the Hindu Women Succession Amendment Act 2005. Before going to see the exactly what are the rights given by this Hindu Succession Amendment Act 2005, we will see the historical development of Hindu women's property rights, which included the various important acts, that is the Hindu Wills Act 1870, Married Women's Property Act 1874, Hindu Inheritance Removal of Disabilities Act 1928, Hindu Law of Inheritance Act 1929, Hindu Women's Right to Property Act 1937, and after the independence, the very important act, which is the Hindu Succession Act 1956. So, Hindu Succession Act 1956 is one of the important act which was framed by the Law Commission of India, which gives us a uniform system of inheritance to the Hindus, but initially it was limited, or we can say it is generally unequal, and there is always a difference between the property rights to the male and the women. So this act is applicable to the Hindus, Sikhs and Buddhists and Jain. So there are certain important concepts are included in this Hindu Succession Act. So the first important concept in this regard is the personal laws. Okay, so in India there is a system of the personal laws. So the personal laws varies from religion to religion. The person who is belong to that particular religion, that person have to follow that particular personal laws. So there is no certainty in our country relating to the personal laws. So basically there are 4 personal laws in our country: for Hindus personal law; for Muslims personal law; for Parsis as well as for the Christians. Okay, so there is a difference between all these 4 personal laws. So there is again difference between the rights relating to the women as well as the men. Okay, then the second important concept is the property. So here the property is included basically 2 types of the property, that is the movable property, immovable property, the self-acquired property and the ancestral property. So again, when the property is ancestral property, there are certain different laws is applicable, and when there is a self-acquired property, then there is again different laws is applicable. Okay, so then most important concept in this Hindu Succession Act is the co-passionary. Okay, so the co-passionary, we can say co-passionary means it is the included all male person in the family, and all that male person togetherly form is the co-passionary. Okay, and each member in that co-passionary is called it as a co-passioner. Before Hindu Succession Amendment Act 2005, that co-passioner is very limited only to the male person in the family. So in co-passioner, only male person is included in a co-passioner. Okay, but after this Amendment Act, the daughter is also included under the purview of the co-passionary, and now a daughter is also a co-passioner. Okay, so now we'll highlight the certain important changes which is brought by the Hindu Succession Amendment Act 2005. Okay, so basically the object of this Hindu Succession Amendment Act 2005 was to remove the gender discriminatory provisions which are included in Hindu Succession Act 1956 and to give the equal rights to the daughters in Hindu Mitakshara Kopashnari as compared to the son or as like to the son. Okay, this amendment is gives the rights to the daughter which are excluded under the previous act. It also omitted the section 23 of the act which is entitled female to ask for the partition in respect of the dwelling house wholly occupied by a joint family until the men here choose to divide their respective shares therein. Okay, so here we can say the important change is brought that the daughter can ask any time for the partition and daughter can get the equal right with the male. So this is the important changes which is brought. Okay, so the property rights, how it will be differed, we will see after the amendment act 2005. Okay, if firstly see one of the condition, if there is no other class 1 heirs and daughter is alone, then she will inherit the whole property. Okay, so before passing of this amendment act, this provision is not like that. If there is absence of class 1 heirs excluding the daughter, the all properties passes to the class 2 here, but here when there is a daughter and no other class 1 heirs, all the property will goes to the daughter. Okay, now we'll see the next second important conditions. If there is more than one daughter, they will inherit equally. Okay, so when there is 2 daughters, the half portion will get to the one daughter and the half portion will get to the another daughter. Okay, if there is son and daughter, they will inherit equally. Okay, so this is important changes, that is the daughter can inherit the property equally with the son also. Okay, if now we'll see the next condition, if there is one daughter and no son but son's daughter, she will be entitled to the half share. Okay, so there might be possible that there is a daughter is alive and the son is deceased, but that son is having the daughter. In that situation, the half portion of that deceased son will goes to that deceased son daughter. Then I will see the next situation. If there is no other heirs, in that situation the son's daughter will inherit the whole property. It might be possible that the son dies. In that situation, that son is having the daughter, so that son's daughter included under the class 1 heirs and all the property goes to the deceased son's daughter. Okay, now we'll see the next situation. In that situation, what happened? If there are 2 daughters and one son's son and one son's daughter, the 2 daughters will take 1/3 each and the other 1/3 will be inherited by the son's son and son's daughter collectively. Okay, so here again the distribution of the property is showing equally when there is one son and 2 daughters. In that situation, these 3 heirs, it means one sons and 2 daughters, will inherit 1/3, and if the son is deceased, and in that situation that 1/3 share of that deceased son inherited by that deceased son 1/6 share and the deceased son's daughter 1/6 share. Okay, so then the next situation is, if there is a daughters, then sons, daughters, sons and sons daughter, the daughter shall take the 1/3, the son's daughter shall take the 1/3, and other 1/3 equally inherited by the sons and the daughter. So okay, so this is the tree diagram which are clear us what exactly happen or how the property or how the share is distributed. Okay, so here what happened, that the daughter will get the 1/3 son is the deceased, so deceased sons 1/3 will get to the son's sons, and 1/3 will get to the son's the daughter, and the remaining 1/6 will get the sons, and the remaining 1/6 will get to the son's daughter. Okay, so in this way this property distribution is continued by the Hindu Succession Amendment Act 2005. Thank you.